Hello, good evening to everyone. And thank you, Prabhakar, for having me. And thank you, Secular Art Movement, for inviting me. Yes, thank you, Prabhakar. I'm starting now. Yeah, thank you so much. And I welcome all of you who are there. A big hello to everyone. Yeah. And I'm so happy to come alive live today. And I would like to take you all through my art journey. So, hi, I'm Rupali Patil. I born and brought up in Pune in 1984. Okay, no more love symbol. I'm just getting distracted. Yeah, this is weird. It feels like a monologue. Yeah. So let me just start a little bit seriously now. So hi again. Shit. And so I born and brought up in Pune. I have done my bachelor's in Bharati Vidyapit and master's in Baroda. So I just start from where my background, and then I'll take slowly through my work. And because of some problems in my laptop, I couldn't share my screen. So I'm doing a live from the my mobile. So please bear with me. And I hope you can see the images properly. I'll take care of that. So I born in a very I I I born in a very middle class family. It wasn't anything extraordinary given to me. My father, he was in police, and he served till last 3 years. He have been taken retirement, and he retired as a PSI. And I have no one in my background, family background, who have done art. I'm still getting over this live. I'm not hearing any voice from there, so it's a bit weird to just keep talking on. Yeah, hello to everyone. Yes, I'll go back to my family background again. And so my father was a kind of inspiration for me. He he actually served 2 years for Osho's bodyguard. In 79 and 80, he was Osho. If you all know Rajneesh, he was his bodyguard. And after that, he used to read or listen a lot of Osho's books, reading a books and listening audio tapes. So eventually, we also end up listening a lot of philosophy in the house. And when I was in my 11th, 12th, I did my 11th, 12th from IT. It's a ITI, a small diploma. And through that, actually, I got into a job, which was a SKF company. I did a job there for almost 1 full year. It was a ball bearing company, and it was very bad. That job brings me a lot of suppression to my emotions. I was very young. I was working with a lot of elderly people around me. And of course, there's a lot of sexist remarks. There's a lot of, uh, I mean, it just brings out a lot of my confidence down. And after that, I was doing, while doing a job, I was also doing BCom first year side by side. But after that, I just felt too overwhelmed and continue with the that kind of a job, 7 to 7. And yeah, I didn't quit. I done my apprentice 1 year full, but then I wanted to search for something else, which could content me, which I could feel which I could feel better. So after doing all of that, I met one of my sister's friend who mentioned about the commercial art to me, and then I went to Bharati Vidyapit to inquire about this course, and then I met. I went to the fine art college eventually, and I I choose to do GDR diploma. And when I got into the art college, it was again a little bit economical crisis in the house. So I did orderly job. I did tattoo painting in the mall. So while doing all of this survival issues, dealing with all these survival things, I was also very keen on knowing like what exactly art means for me. If you all know Pune Bharati Vidyapit, it wasn't like a very it I will say it wasn't really interesting for me to be there for 5 years, but getting nothing actually leads for more curiosity. And then it was basically I was surrounded with a lot of abstract practice, and I have no offense with the abstract people, but the thing is like I couldn't feel belong to that I could express my whatever I feel through the abstract. So I did abstract for almost 4 years, and after that I started involving some figures in my work, some objects, and that feels good. That feel like something visible is coming out and something I could connect with. So I continue with composition and making some life figures. And of course, you do a lot of physical study. Sorry, that's aeroplane. My house is near to airport, so this will keep coming. Yeah, so going back to Bharati Vidyapit art practice, then me and my friend, we decide that, there are definitely more to the art than only the abstract. And we're kind of struggling with what could be our medium to express. And thank you. I'm really thankful to have Sudarshan Rangamanch in Pune, where I have visited a lot of time, and I have done some fabulous, like I've watched some fabulous movies there. And those movies really helped me to understand the deeper side of the art. I mean, the Tarkovsky, Ingmar Bergman, like I end up seeing a lot of great movies, and also they used to screen the artist films. Picasso, Madhuri Purandare, who wrote Picasso book in Marathi, which was incredible. And all this was side by side really helping me to shape my understanding towards more art. And me and my friend took the tour from Bharati Vidyapit to the Shanti Niketan, to Delhi, to Baroda, and then we end our trip to JJ. And then I decided that, okay, I want to get into the Baroda College of Art. So the Baroda College of Art, the 2 years I did printmaking over there. And slowly, like, I would like to just take you around what I've done in the printmaking in that 2 years. So this is a serigraph, two-color serigraph, etching. Can you all see the images? Prabhakar, can you see the images? So I'll go a little bit slowly. So in my first year, I did the lot of printing on the paper, but later on, I just wanted to explore more. I was so hungry from Bharati Vidyapit that I just wanted to explore a lot of things. And so I started making etchings on the silk. So what you see here, it is actually print on two side. It's a box frame, and it's on the silk cloth. It's a very fine silk cloth. And I actually wanted to use the experience of what you think, not only in what you can see, but what is behind. So there is this another print which I have compressed, like this, sandwiched together. So from front, you can see these two. There's a image blur behind, and from another side, you can see the blur image clear. And so that was the idea while living from traveling from Baroda to Pune. I felt like I'm living with two different realities. But when I go to Baroda, I felt on that flat dimension, I could just express the one reality. And the other one, which I have lived, is somewhere getting, it was not coming out. So this is what you can, and I made it like a box frame. So from one side you can see the blur image clear, and from other side you can see the collage of those. And it's a very fine silk. I tried on multiple cotton, but finally the one I wanted to have these kind of effect, I got on the very fine silk. So while going back to what visually is coming out in those images is lot of question, a lot of thought to uh, what kind of form I can use to represent what I'm thinking, because frankly all this practice was I have not done in Baroda at in Bharati Vidyapit at all. So in a way Baroda opened a lot of questioning and understanding for me through the art. So this is paper pulp. I've casted the paper on the POP block. This is again etching. This was in 2011. So I was involved with like a lot of thinking of landscape and how you can reinterpret the landscape. When you say landscape, you can only see there is a one idealized imaginary behind that. And I thought like when I live in my room and I think about landscape, I see like a boat and the object. So this is what I end up making. And I use that tree as a kind of a self-expression here. And this is after getting out of college. I started having this, this is a watercolor, and there was a constant flow in the work. Even I couldn't recognize that time that what this flow is, but it keeps coming. There was a mountain, there was a flow, there was a bricks. This is again watercolor. So because I was not having access to the machine, printmaking machine, I stopped making print, and I couldn't buy one that time. So after finishing my master's in Baroda, I shifted to Bombay, and I'm so glad that I had Tushar Zog as a kind of a mentor, because he used to come to Baroda and everyone used to drag him to his studio, to their studio, and he actually very dearly person. So yeah, I'm so glad to know Tushar, and because of him, I could come to Bombay because of Tushar and Sharmila. And me and Prabhakar, we started living in their studio. And I assist Sharmila for her solo project in Lakire. And I learned a lot of things in that during that process, because if you know Tushar's practice, it is quite provocative to think towards what politics is. Until that moment, I have not even gave a single thought about what politics could bring, like what it means to have those views, those critical understanding in your work. This is again watercolor. So while living in Sharmila's studio, I could make some small images. And being in Bombay itself was a very big thing for me. So while traveling all these cities from Pune to Baroda to Bombay, I kind of felt a little bit lost, a little bit, I don't know, there was a constant search was going on. So I'll just go through the another presentation and then talk. So yeah, so going back to my Bombay days, Tushar introduced me to the Clark House. That was very biggest, I said, like a big turn for me. And I met many people in Clark House, many dearly colleagues. And at very that year in 2011, there was a one show, Right to Descent, which was curated by in-house curator in Clark House. And the show happened in Pune. So the show was about, of course, Right to Descent, and it was more keenly involved the Binayak Sen, who was an activist, who is an activist in Chhattisgarh. So I was very new to all this, and while working with Tushar, I learned a lot of things about how there are hierarchies, how there are exploitations, about little bit about Naxal. I still have not cleared my idea about that. But yeah, I started learning little bit about all this politics around me. And for that exhibition, I did one video work, which was about the honeybee. I used the metaphor of honeybee and I did a one stop motion animation. Sadly, I can't show you that right now. So yeah, here is another one. So I learned a lot of about the Ambedkar uh, through my father, actually, because he used to read a lot of books. And I'm happy that through my father I have not got only uh, about the philosophy, but he could just provide us whatever he thinks we should read. And that was really amazing because he never imposed his thinking on us. And of course, the Ambedkar was his most favorite. And we had like a lot of Ambedkar's book or Gandhiji or so many other books as well. And I felt like somewhere what I was trying to do after the college, I was trying to opening all this layer one by one, what I have contained inside me. So this is the installation I have done in Kochi. It was during the first Biennale. So this is again what I was talking about, flow. I'm going back to the flow again. And this whole show was about Burma and what happened in Burma in 1988. So Zasha, who was the curator at Clark House, she have been doing a lot of research about Burma and also writing a book about it. And this whole exhibition was curated around that. So in this exhibition, I ended up visiting one big painting. It was just a red landscape again, which I, of course, got attracted to. And this big red landscape, I wonder like what it could be about. So it was an interesting conversation with Zasha when she mentioned that there was a in this revolution, the police killed a lot of monks, Buddhist monks, and they killed the dead bodies of these monks in the Irrawaddy River. So while creating this work, it was not at all in my mind that I should work something about Burma, but I just wanted to make this flow into something bigger, because in my drawings it was breaking the walls of the place I stay with my imagination, of course. But I definitely wanted to see this flow like getting into more bigger. So yeah. So I end up creating this, like it is coming out of from the drainage pipeline, and then is going down, and then it's again coming up from somewhere else. But all you can see about this installation through these windows, like you can't come out and follow this installation till the end, which was going here, somewhere here. Yeah. So after this, I'm again going back to how this flow I explored later on. And so I consider to myself, okay, let's assume that this flow as a water. And then I started thinking of water more like I don't know whether it's uh, like a metaphorical way, and what different meaning of water could be. And I also end up reading while doing the research about even Binayak Sen. So yeah, side by side also there was a lot of reading and research was going on since I was part of that right to Descent exhibition. After that, I couldn't stop myself but read. I couldn't stop to thinking that there is whole aspect of having visual art practice while considering the society and the problems we are surrounded with, than the only having the self expression. I mean, content with all this, and then maybe try to express all this with through your art. So until this point, even I'm not clear about what my perception of art is. But this is about, I created this work, it called Let's Divide the River Too. So I consider myself a river, and also I use this metaphor to make this work. And I was reading a lot about the river privatization at the same time. And I thought of when I was reading about river privatization, I also back of the mind was thinking like how I could sit in my one room reading about all this on my internet, and how do I respond to it? What, I mean, how could one can privatize the water? How can this be a commodity? So these are really a basic question I started having, but I don't wanted to end up with opening all my curiosity with the research, but I also wanted to contain that research with my visual practice. So here I made the work, Let's Divide the River Too, and imagining that this is some bureaucrat is making plan on the graph paper that, from this portion to this, someone will take the river, and it's the cutting portion is already taken by someone else. So if you join all this, it has become just a flow again. And after working on the graph paper, which was really interesting for me, and somewhere back of the mind, I couldn't forget the printmaking. And I found this material. It's a paper cutting mat, and on this mat, I started engraving. So this is the map of Chhattisgarh, which I engraved on the paper cutting mat. If you can, I can zoom it. So the green of the cutting mat and the when you engrave, there is a gray. I was really enjoying it. So this is in 2013. Rux Media have curated one show in Matighar, Delhi, IGNCA. I was part of that, and this is the work I have created there. So this is just a extended structure of the corrugated tin. So there was a door here which I opened up here, which I opened up, and then this extended structure I created. So the idea behind this exhibition was also about questioning the second identity in the city, which I myself was also experiencing while living in Bombay. There was a lot of new thing. There's a lot of anxiety to get adjusted with the new city. I mean, I can't just talk about the politics around me and not talk about my own anxiety, my my own fear of going through the whole big new city. So I was thinking of the second identity and also the second home, the idea of second home. Like what could be my second home? So I made this structure. I was still not clear why the corrugated tin, why all that, but I felt that there is a huge population who stays in these houses is also the second uh, is their second home, because a lot of labor migration, when it happens to the city, they end up living in this, so they end up using this material. So I was looking at the material as well, that how it talks about many other things. And again, it has a iron. So this is the IGNCA, and this was the structure. So I started exploring more with the same material. So this is during my solo. My solo title was Everybody Drinks, but Nobody Cries. So this title also, it was my first trip to the Brazil with Prabhakar, who was in Sao Paulo Biennale. And I was just going around with him everywhere. So we end up in a very small village in Brazil where there was a beautiful restaurant, and on the on the restaurant's menu card, there was this very interesting story. It was in Portuguese, but there was a guide with us who translate all this to us. And the story was about the owner of the restaurant who owns this restaurant. So there's this lady, and she's just talking about her love life with one person who visited her restaurant. And actually, that person used to come to work in the mine from outside. He was not from that village. So she ended up saying in this story that everybody drinks, but nobody cries. So eventually, this lover of her left her and he goes to the other city. So, what she was trying to say through this, just through this sentence, that he came to his village, Oroprito, and he just consumed the material he found there, the natural resources. He came to her restaurant, he eat, he enjoy, and then he left. So I really like this idea, not idea, but this whole sentence, that how we are also becoming, how we also consume so much, but we don't know where all these consume products are coming from. And so in this installation, there was also a poem inside this, and it's an audio which I put inside this comb. Actually, I was calling this as a honeycomb, and the poem was about it was a conversation about sweat and the smoke. So the sweat I refer to the mass labor, which I was also actually feeling like a part of because every day coming from Goregaon to Kulaba, sweating all the way, getting used to with Bombay weather. It was not all nice, but it was difficult to deal with. But I was a lot thinking about sweat and the smoke. So smoke, I felt like it can go with the urban industrialization which around us. And so I use the sweat for the worker and the smoke for the industrialist. And they are having the conversation when we will both stop sweating and smoking. So, okay, I would like to say the poem also. One second, I forgot the poem. And there was also the sound of honeybee continuously inside that. I forgot the poem, Prabhat. Okay, I'll say the poem later when it comes to my mind back. So this is again from the solo, Everybody Drinks But Nobody Cries. So there are this turtle. Again, I felt like I'm so slow for the Bombay, and I started using a lot of turtle in my work. And they're carrying a lot of things like bricks, uh, chair, cup. It's just like their houses. Some drawings of abandoned spaces. So in 2014, I so after wondering a lot about the Bombay thing when I used to visit back my home again, and this is also the time when I delivered my first baby. So this work was part of the Pune Biennale, supposed to be part of Pune Biennale, which got censored, and it was about the habit cohabit, like how you change or adopt your habits according to your cohabited person. So when I was cohabited in the house, I mean, I went back actually home after a long time. So this is after having a baby. It was the longest time I again stayed in Pune, and I thought of this habit of covering the underwear, the female underwear, and like how you just adopt this. Your mother tells you like it's a better way, it's a safer way to dry your clothes, and you just go ahead with it. So I wanted to print this work on a big banner, and but that couldn't happen. The corporation couldn't understand it. They said like, who dried the clothes like that, ऐसे असं कपडे कोण वाळवतं असं त्यांना म्हणायचं होतं. But it was really silly argument which I had later on with them. But then we printed just on the paper and then put it inside. So this is again the graph paper coming in the work. This was in 2015, 14 in Istanbul. I was part of the Istanbul Biennale, and I did my display in the Galata Greek School. So while doing this work, of course, it's a Biennale, and we all know that how Biennale comes up with the concept. And this was again a very difficult part of me dealing all the time with the curatorial concept note and then responding towards it. If I say it wasn't difficult, but it was really tricky. Like you keep your practice, you keep your consent change, I felt, and then respond to the curator's note. But I really like the concept of what 14th Istanbul Biennale offered. So it was a, am I running out of the time, Prabhakar? Please tell me. I'm just continuing right now. So the title of the Biennale was Saltwater and Theory of the Thought Form. So this is interesting because taking a long break from whatever the political understanding I was going through and just thinking about the theory of thought form. If you all know that Annie Besant have written, Annie Besant with the another writer, they have done this book called uh, Theory of Thought Form, where they're talking about like what could be the form of our thoughts. If we think, is that thinking is creating also the form? And I really like the interpretation. I saw the book online. I've read some, I've seen a lot of illustrations of it, and I wanted to adopt that idea to think about this building which was content with a lot of material. And then I turned this idea around: is there a energy to the object? Is there a is that energy have the form? So because this Galata Greek school have very deep and brutal history, but again I felt like I'm a bit alien to talk about suddenly this history. But I stayed 2 months in Istanbul, and because I was going there every day, I was not particularly pre-plan my work, but I just felt like I want to throw whatever comes out in this 2 month long working days. So while we were there, there was also a small blast. So with some collage, this image came in, and then I just showed that before this object collapsed on the ground, what kind of vibration or impact it could create. So I displayed the images. I displayed the images on the uh, school benches. So I was trying to play with the thought forms in a different way. I don't know whether it's going somewhere or not, but this is what I so far gone to. So this is again 2017. This exhibition happened in Poland. Uh, so this was the first exhibition I did with Prabhakar, my partner, and I felt while living with him, uh, it wasn't influences, but in 2017 mostly I felt like somewhere my concern is also uh, our both of our concerns are getting together. So this was in Poland. We did some research on the mining, and this was first time I was responding to the mining, but I couldn't stop myself thinking about the women's role in this. And while visiting the Guido mine, so in these mines, wherever you go, when you enter underground, you see Santa Barbara. So Santa Barbara is like very strong uh, female goddesses they have. You bow to her and then go to work. But at the same time in Poland, they also say that if women come underground, she will bring lot of misfortune. And the when time I went to the Poland in Krakow, it was really I mean they are getting really overwhelmed with lot of coal which they are digging, and the weather was really affecting badly. So I printed Santa Barbara and I put chimney on her head. And somewhere through this representation, I felt like, you just give women one position and tell her to just sit there and not allow her to work underground. I mean, there are women who were working overground, and there are also the mine where, what is this? Sorry. So this is on the wall. I created the future museum that after watching what they have turned uh, the coal mine into, because they have made small museum, malls, and churches, and the wedding ceremony they can hold underground if you want. So it's quite hilarious what they have created out of the closed mine. And I wanted to create here the future museum, that if you go to the museum you will maybe end up seeing the tree. And here on this side I paste some mountains, and the title of this forest underground. So this is a first collaboration, not first, the second collaboration of me and Prabhakar. I'm calling it second because on the first we struggled a lot, because I thought, okay, our thoughts are going together, so maybe our medium can also match. but this wasn't the case. There was a lot of fighting. And then on this work, it's called Dinner with the Dead Machine. So while visiting this mine, I felt that this machine are really dead, and so we created this Last Supper. And this is woodcut. It's an engraving on the wood. So also one of the reason to stop printmaking after a lot of thought process changing, I felt that the wastage it creates is really hilarious. I went mad after using turpentine and the ink for this work also. And I still don't know when I will stop making printmaking, but so far I stopped taking the print. I stopped making etching works. So this is again in Art and Soul. I showed this work. It's called To Be Hollowed, and it's a larger, it's 7 by 9 feet cutting mat. I joined all those together and drawing and engraving on it. So because Pune is also in the mountain area, like a lot of there are surrounded mountains, and this is a common visual that you see that some mountains are really engraved, and for the houses. So this is again more drawings. This is called People Unpeople. And I was looking at the human impact on the nature. Even when you stop, it is not really stopping. You leave the mark on the landscapes. So these are like people-less landscape. And this is in 2018. I showed this work in Slovakia. Yep, this is it. That's a lot of work I've shown, I know. So, yeah, after Baroda meeting Tushar, learning a lot of critical understanding from him. Uh, with him, we used to go to the protest for the Narmada Andolan. And somewhere I just felt that all of this is impacting me, but I resist myself to go to the ground research and get into that process. I don't know why, when I will do that again. But the reading is happening, the expression is coming through, but still I'm not into like a one subject and getting hard on myself to, like, once I was talking with Vidha and she told me that stop going hard with yourself or with your practice, and I kept that in a mind. Thank you, Vidha. And it's eases me a lot after having a discussion with you. But yeah, there is a back of the mind, there's a lot of thing going on. So far, this is it. I think I'm just now talking here and there. If anyone have any question, please go through. Sorry. Should I wait for the question, Prabhakar? I don't know how this monologue went, but I'm happy to do all this. Happy to come out of the den and showing the work to all of you. Any question I couldn't see so far? Prabhakar, should I hang up? Hello, Prabhakar. Yogesh, it's nice to see your journey from traditional filmmaker to contemporary art practice. Thank you, Yogesh. Okay, I think this is it. Maybe if there is something, some question, I can go to the secular page and I respond there. But once again, thank you so much, Prabhakar and Rajashri Gudi. Thank you for pushing me to do this. Scroll down. I did scroll down, Prabhakar. I couldn't find the question. Exclusive creation and expression. Thank you. Uh, no, I'm not finding any question. Do you receive river as an integral feminist metaphor, perhaps like a nature of the land? Yes, yes, very strongly. I do feel like I have not spoken about the ecofeminism in this, but whenever I see some women painting, like there is a lot of reference to the nature. There's a lot of trees. There is, I mean, a lot of her inspiration comes from the nature. And I don't know how that process goes, but for that I'm also reading a lot of about ecofeminism, uh, but don't wanted to talk more about it right now. But I do feel, Rumi, that it's a really feminist metaphor. And yes, nurturing land is also one of the big part of it, because using those metaphor, you yourself feel quite cozy, and you feel reliable on those metaphors. You maybe explore more, and there is a strong nurturer part in that. It is a really wonderful session, dear. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Please stay safe. Yup, I'm signing off.